What's going on, everyone? Mitesh here with Tech, and today I've got a review for you guys of a budget-friendly laptop that I think would be great for anybody going back to school or anybody looking for a budget-friendly laptop. And it's the Lenovo Ideapad 720s. And there's a lot to like about this laptop with a couple of downsides. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Alright, so starting off with the build quality. The build quality on this laptop is amazing for the price. So I got this for $630 and you would never know it if you just saw this from far away or even if you got your hands on it because this thing is just really well built. It's a very, very thin laptop at just 13 millimeters at the thickest point, and it's just a really well constructed laptop. There is basically zero flex to this. The screen barely flexes, the keyboard, the chassis, everything, it just feels really good on this laptop. So for the price, you're getting a really, really well-built laptop. Now for that price, you're not just getting a good build quality, but you're also getting some pretty great specs. You've got the AMD Ryzen 5 2500U processor in here, and that's comparable to like a Core i5. It's a little bit slower than that, but for the most part, you're getting pretty much the same amount of performance out of this. You also have 8 gigabytes of RAM. You can get 16 gigabytes, but I thought for most people, 8 gigabytes would be plenty. And then this thing also comes with 512 gigabytes of PCIe SSD, so fast storage, and yeah, that's plenty I think for everybody, and it's plenty fast too. Now even though this is a thin and light device, you do get a decent number of ports, although not the ones that I personally would have liked. So it's got 2 USB-C ports, which I like. One of them is how you charge this laptop, and the other one can do display out, and it does not support Thunderbolt 3 because that is an Intel technology, so right, AMD is not going to have that. But it's got 2 USB-A ports on either side of the laptop and a headphone jack. Some ports that I would have personally liked to see on this laptop would have been like an SD card reader and an HDMI out. Even if it's like a mini HDMI, that still would have been better than to get a dongle for the USB-C to get display out. I still would have much preferred that. Okay, so moving on to the inside of this laptop. First of all, you are of course greeted with that 13-inch screen, and even though this thing is called the 720s, it does have a 1080p screen, thank God. The screen is good, but it's not great. So the screen is IPS and it has pretty good color accuracy, but it does not get very bright. So indoors this thing is fine, but if you try to take it anywhere that's like a bright, if you're sitting next to a window that's really bright, you're gonna have some issues with this. It is a matte screen, so you don't get a ton of glare off of it, but it's not great screen in terms of brightness. That screen is great, however, for watching movies, and the speakers on this are pretty good. They are bottom firing, so I don't love that, especially if you put this on like a couch or something, kind of absorbs all that sound, but if you put this on a hard surface, you do get a decent amount of resonance, and it sounds actually pretty good. Next up, let's talk about the keyboard and trackpad. Those are things that I think can generally make or break a laptop, and in this case, I think they do a pretty good job. The keyboard is similar to all of Lenovo's keyboard in that it's a really good, well thought out layout, and it just feels very comfortable to type on. They're using the regular scissor mechanisms, and there's plenty of key travel, at least for a laptop this size. The trackpad is a Windows Precision trackpad, and it's really good. It tracks all my gestures really well, and all mouse clicks and everything like that just work perfectly on this. Windows has come a long way since the days of like old crappy touchpads to having Windows Precision touchpads even on mid-level devices like this one. So, you know what? I'm really happy with the touchpad on here. Next to that touchpad, you'll find a fingerprint reader, and this is something that I didn't realize how much I wanted in a laptop. It's so much easier than putting in your password. You can just tap your finger there and log you in automatically. Even if somebody else is like sharing your computer, you can just tap your finger and it'll log into your account. So I think it's pretty great for that. It's one of those things that once you've had it, you're never going to want to go to a laptop or any other device that doesn't have a fingerprint reader. It's the same with phones. Once you have it, you just don't want to give it up. Alright, so I just listed a whole bunch of things that I like about this laptop, so let's talk about some of those things that I don't like about this laptop. And at number 1, we have the fact that this thing is not very upgradable. So you can open this up, it's got 10 Torx screws on the bottom, they can open up really easily, but once you have it open, the only thing you can upgrade is the SSD and the Wi-Fi card. Now the SSD I don't think is worth upgrading because you already have a pretty fast 512 gigabyte SSD, so I think for most people that's going to be good enough. If you want to upgrade to a terabyte, you can, I just don't know that it's worth it. The Wi-Fi card, however, you will want to upgrade because this thing has a pretty slow Wi-Fi card. So I compared the Wi-Fi speeds on this laptop versus my 2015 MacBook Pro, and the MacBook Pro gets about like 4 times the speed this one does. So I don't know what's wrong with this Wi-Fi card, but I would strongly recommend replacing it once you get it because it's just not very fast. I think it's just the fact that it's only got a 1x1 antenna versus a 2x2 MIMO setup, so definitely if you get this, you're gonna want to replace the Wi-Fi card because it's just too slow. Now something else I don't like about this laptop is the performance. So the AMD Ryzen processor in this is capable processor, but I think the cooling that they have in here is just not good enough because this thing gets hot and it throttles that CPU. So if you're looking to do like very heavy tasks on this, no, I can't really recommend this for you. But if you're doing like light work, like writing essays, browsing the web, and just doing general tasks versus like, I don't know, doing CAD rendering, doing video editing, doing video gaming, definitely you cannot game on this computer. Even though the AMD APU should be pretty good at it, it's not very good at this because just that heat is just too much for this. The thermal solution they have on this is just not very good. Now because of that heat, I think the battery life also gets affected, and that's another thing that I don't particularly like on this laptop. The battery life on this is typically around like 5 to 6 hours, and for a laptop in 2018, that's not great. It's good, but it's not great, especially at this price point. I think you could get a laptop if you really wanted something with better battery life, you could get it. But on most days, I'm getting about 5 to 6, and on good days, I get about like 7 hours of battery life. So that is what it is. Like I told you guys, you can charge this via USB-C. So if you have a battery pack that can deliver up to like 45 watts of power, you can actually charge this up via USB-C. But overall, I think that if you're looking for a budget-friendly laptop for school or just for your day-to-day home tasks, I think this is not a terrible option. For $630, I don't think you're going to get that something that's that much better, that's this thin and light, and that's this, portable and nice. But with that, that's pretty much all I have for you guys in this one. If you guys like this, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you guys want to see more videos like this, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!